Yeah, I can see you. Yeah.
Okay. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, thank you.
Firstly, I want to thank you for accepting my invitation and accepting to talk with me.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you for inviting me to come on. I'm happy to do that.
So I thought to introduce you to my audience.
Great.
So yeah, so can you please introduce yourself to my audience?
Yes, definitely. So I'm Charlene Walters, and I am an entrepreneurship and business mentor, and also the author of Launch Your Inner Entrepreneur about entrepreneurial mindset for women.
You're from? You're from?
And I'm originally from Connecticut, but I live in Charlotte, North Carolina now in the United States.
Okay. So I have gone through your profile. You did MBA and you have pursued PhD. You did PhD in?
I did a PhD in business administration with a concentration in marketing. And I did that at North Central University, which is in Arizona. So it was really a great experience because I got to find out about why people choose to buy from one website versus another when I was working on my research.
Okay. So you are more into business and administration.
Business, yes, business, marketing. I also worked on developing a program for entrepreneurs so that they can start their businesses. So, really, those are my main focuses, and also just kind of helping people so that they can move forward and achieve their professional goals.
Okay. So you are a business mentor.
Yes, exactly.
What it mean?
What does that mean? It means that I'm able to help people if they want to start a business. I sort of help them work on launching their business plans, getting everything in order to do that. Sometimes people already have businesses, so I help them with whatever they want to work on next. Maybe it's growing their brand to the next level. Sometimes just people just come to me because they're sort of stuck professionally and they want to move on or move up or change careers. So they come to me as sort of a person to help them formulate their goals and kind of do what they want to do next in life.
Okay. So online business or offline business?
Whatever it is, it depends. A lot of times, sometimes it's small business, sometimes it's realtors, sometimes it's in digital business. Just depends. Whatever anyone needs, I sort of help them along.
So what is business?
What kind of business?
What is business?
Oh, what is business? Business is doing commerce, I guess you would say, online or offline, or working to take a brand or a product to market and then get customers, obviously, to buy that product, doing the research and really lining up your target audience.
So why only few products have more audience and why few products have more audience?
It really comes down to marketing and promotions. A lot of times, entrepreneurs, when they're just starting out, they sort of do all this stuff. They make a website, they make their marketing materials, but they don't spend enough time on sales and really promotion. And that's what kind of separates them from the pack. So when they're first starting out, it's kind of hard to get that word out. So they have to really concentrate on that and make that their number one focus. And sometimes for entrepreneurs, that's hard because it's a lot of rejection, right? It takes a long time, and not everyone has the patience to move forward. So that's why sometimes businesses fail if the entrepreneur doesn't have enough tenacity to stick with it.
So can I say more promotion equal to more sale?
Yes, definitely. As long as you understand your target audience and you have your product or service defined correctly. So, in order to get your product or service right, you have to kind of analyze the market, see what options are available, and see what people like or don't like about what's already on the market. And then talk to people and customers to make sure that what you're offering is attractive to them and see exactly what that target audience is that it appeals to. So maybe you're selling to men and women 35 to 45 who like to work out, or maybe it's an older clientele, maybe 50, 60-year-olds who have a harder time getting around. Whatever it is, the better you understand that and the better you really research the product, the more likely you will be to be able to promote it effectively and reach the right people.
Okay, so how to know the right people?
You have to research. I mean, you have to find out, you can look, if you're getting into a business where there's already a bunch of competitors, you can look at them and see who their target audience is. Sometimes you can find data and information online and pull that just to see and check. You can also go, when it's not a pandemic, of course, you can go in person and visit the stores and watch customers interacting with the product or service. And then you can do survey. Once you start looking around, maybe there is something that current customers don't like about that product or service, and you can change it. And then you can start surveying potential customers to find out if what you plan to offer will resonate with them. And then you can ask them for information about their demographics, how old they are, where they work, what they like to do, all kinds of information. Gather as much as you can. And then you'll start targeting those specific people with your promotions. For example, if you're running an ad on Instagram, you can choose the demographics of who you want to target and what they're interested in and what they like. And you'll find out pretty quickly if somehow you've messed up with your target audience. But sometimes you'll start off aiming at one target audience and it might actually evolve over time. But the more research you do and the more you investigate, the more likely you are to get it right.
Okay, so I'm sure you might have seen a lot of businesses in your life.
Yes, definitely. For sure.
So what is the best one?
The best business. Oh gosh. Well, it just depends. I mean, look at right now, everything is shifting so much from the pandemic. So things that wouldn't have done well before might be doing better now. So for example, now virtual events are big. So that's a big business. Doing anything to support busy parents that are home, homeschooling their children. So maybe offering tutoring or childcare, anything that is an opportunity for people to get out and do something fun safely. People are so bored right now that anything like that is really a surefire way. But as the markets change and things evolve, the different opportunities are available. So there's really not one that you can say is the best, but as long as you are competing in an area where you are doing something better or you're doing something that helps customers and provides value and you stick with it with tenacity and keep going after it, you should be able to be successful as long as it's a good product or service and people want it.
So what are the major principles that a starter who is starting his business should follow?
So when you're starting a business, you should do your research, as I said, find out about your target audience, find out everything you can about the industry, and then you can create a business plan which will just outline the different areas of your business in terms of your marketing strategy, what your funding is going to be, what your product is, what your unique selling proposition is, or that thing that you'll do better than the other competitors out there, what your sales forecast is, how you plan to sell your product, and what's your forecasted sales over time. Just get as much of your planning done in little small steps. And if you already have a job, it's sometimes best and easiest to start as a side hustle. So you don't give up your day job. You work on everything a little at a time until you feel like you have enough momentum to launch into it full time.
Is that possible for a human being to do job and business both? Can handle both?
They can. It'll get old after a while, but it's really a smart way to do it because it's scary to leave, a full-time job and then just start off on your own because it will take you some time to gain traction. So you're better off if you're able to start it a little bit on the side, kind of get all of your groundwork laid off. You can work on the nights and on the weekends. And then finally, when you're to the point where you have enough sales, you can launch into doing it full time.
So every businessman or every businesswoman starts a business only to get profit. Is that possible for them to get profit all the time?
From all the time, I'm sure there's ups and downs with every business, but some remain consistently profitable. You definitely have to plan to have your ups and downs though, and just sort of keep a positive outlook so that you can get through those hard times, because every business is going to hit setbacks when things change. Now, for example, during the pandemic is a great example of this. Most businesses have really taken a large hit and have had to pivot and readjust the way they're doing things. So it is possible to remain profitable. However, you'll have to keep adjusting to the changing market conditions.
So how to know the product? How to know this product is going to get me the profit?
Well, you have to kind of research when you're doing your surveying, find out how much customers are willing to pay for it, determine how much it will cost for you to produce the product, and then really ascertain whether or not there's a real need or a want for the product. So sometimes what people do is they'll set up a page to gauge interest. They'll do a minimum viable product to test it with people to see what the interest is like. Sometimes people use crowdfunding to see if they can get people who are interested enough in the product to order it. And that's sometimes a good way if you're starting something new, just to really gauge the interest in it.
So in this pandemic, like you said, everything came online.
Yes.
So can I say this pandemic is temporary, and the businesses which are getting profit are going to be temporary?
We hope so. I sure hope so. It's I think an important lesson for all of us. For example, I have a gym that I went to, and it was always in person, and then they changed and they offered virtual sessions. Well, virtual sessions make a lot of sense. So probably some businesses will take with whatever they've changed and carry it on with them overall. And I think that's important to do because I'm not sure how long the pandemic will continue. We hope it will end, sometime soon, but it could go on for quite a while, or maybe we encounter something different or similar. So I think what we've all learned as business owners is that we have now an alternate way of doing business that we didn't previously, and that if something else happens again, we have this in place so we can try to move forward using that. But say, for example, with the fitness example, maybe there are clients who like to travel for work or go on vacation. Now, instead of the company losing that revenue during those times, the clients can actually take their workout with them, and they can work out when they're traveling or when they're on vacation. This is something they wouldn't have before. So hopefully this situation has enabled us to kind of expand our product lines and offer additional services even virtually that we didn't before. So ultimately, we hope it'll be a good thing in the long run.
So in your point of view, today, which business is running very good?
Anything, like I said, involving virtual meetings, those things that involve delivery, anyone who just opened a mask business right now is doing great. The restaurants that have taken a hit, obviously, food service, but those that have been really creative have regrouped and provided delivery service, meal delivery, and come up with alternative ways to make money. Let's see, some other things that are doing well right now, or anything that's outdoor activities that a family can do safely, and because everyone's kind of bored at home, so they're looking for those outlets. I just went this weekend to this light show. We have a speedway here in town, and they have Christmas lights, and they charge everyone to go in and see it, and then it has a musical show and everything, and they play a drive-in movie, which is from a long time ago, but people are so excited to get out and do something where they're safe and they're not interacting, and that was so crowded and so amazingly popular. So people that are very creative right now and finding ways to entertain people or keep them safe or provide them options to help them are really the businesses that are doing great right now.
So how to market their product?
To market product, I guess it depends on the product, but it could be a lot of times social media is a great way to market product. Word of mouth is also amazing. It depends on exactly what the product is, but I think the more valuable your product, the easier it is to use, the more it helps people, the more likely you are to have fans of that product. And obviously, using social media to get the word out about your product really helps. Just kind of showcasing that value and getting customers to bond with your brand.
Which one gets more sales, the quality one or the less quality with more marketing?
Haha. Well, that's interesting. More marketing probably would be a short-term, one-time sale, but if you have a better quality product, you'll retain customers more over time. So ultimately, you'll end up with more sales in the end. But you also need to be getting the word out about your product for sure, but particularly when you're first starting out so that people know about it. And you can do that through, kind of networking a lot, going to events or virtual events. You can interact in groups on social media. Join all those places where your target customers are so that they can see and learn about you and learn about your product.
Is there any product that connects with all age groups?
That connects to all the groups. I can't think of one product that you mean in terms of posting or just in terms of which would be a better product to
I
market.
mean, which makes more sales?
Oh, which makes more sense. I mean, right now it's such a weird time. It's hard to say what the best product is. Different times would be different products. I think, it would depend on what your background is and what your expertise is. Maybe if you're more technical, there might be an app that would be wise to put out right now. Maybe if you're more of a small business, anything that can deliver products, services directly to customers right now would make sense. It just depends on your interests and what your background is and, what you're interested in, what type of business you're interested in growing.
So more research equal to more knowledge and more information and more uh,
Yeah,
marketing and more customers.
Yeah, definitely. I think, it depends on you as a person and what you think you might like. And there might be sometimes you can brainstorm and think about 3 or 4 businesses that you like, something that matches your expertise, and then kind of look at how other competitors in that space are doing and what you might be able to do better or differently to make yourself stand out.
So what about the people who are spending less time because they are doing jobs and maintaining their business? So they are going to fail for sure.
There would I'm not entirely sure I understood that exactly. So the people that are doing side hustles, you mean, or
I mean, just now you said about the people who are doing more, who are spending more time in only business and who will get more customers, obviously. So the people who are doing job and who are doing business, obviously, in your theory, they will get less sales compared to them because they will have less information, less research
oh, they're
time.
spending time. Well, not necessarily. I mean, what they're doing is they're just starting more slowly, and all businesses will start sort of slowly. It'll take a while for them to get the word out and to gain momentum. So I guess my point is that they can start kind of hustling a bit on the side until they got that momentum. And then when it's going a little bit stronger, then it makes sense because they have more revenue coming in to do it full time. But I think either way you go, it just starts off a little slower and you have to kind of keep going to get that push and to draw and attract more attention, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, I got you. So we'll talk about your book that you have published.
Yeah, definitely. I have a book coming out in February. It's available on Amazon for pre-order now. It's called Launch Your Inner Entrepreneur. And it's really about developing an entrepreneurial mindset, what you need to do, the mindset you need to get into in order to be successful for the long haul. So many people want to become entrepreneurs, of course. They like the idea of working for themselves and starting their own business, but they don't always act on it because sometimes, it can be scary to jump off and do your own thing. So really, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to commit to it. You have to do all that research and planning like we talked about, and then eventually start going and just not let anything talk you out of it. Sometimes people will try to talk you out of it, or you might get down by some failures or some rejections because things will go wrong. So you have to kind of develop that entrepreneurial mindset, that attitude to see you through, to get comfortable with the risk, and to just keep pushing yourself forward, even when you hit tough times. It's about organizing your time and developing your resilience and kind of making those plans, putting yourself out there on social media, networking, building your presence, and then coming up with new ways to regroup if something happens that is sort of a setback, because everybody will hit those as entrepreneurs.
Okay. So that book is only for beginners or for the intermediate level or for the experts?
It's kind of geared a little bit towards new entrepreneurs, but at the same time, if you're already in business, you can use it to kind of up your ante and take your business to the next level. There's also a plan in there, an action plan for entrepreneurs, so that they can revisit all those areas. And a lot of times in business, we not only have to get the business going, but we have to kind of regroup and keep going. So it's about incorporating all of those best practices to sort of take your mindset and tweak it so that you can keep rising as a business owner.
Okay. So do you have anything to say to the world who watches this video?
Yes, I do. I always say this to everyone. What I like to say is that you can do whatever you put your mind to in business and in life. You just have to be really persistent and get the right attitude. Don't let things bring you down. You can do whatever you want, whatever you achieve. Just make a plan and then execute on that plan and just keep going, and eventually you'll get there. And the other thing that I would like to say to the audience is that you really have to be careful about balancing your business and your life. So having that work-life balance, because the happier, the more well-rested you are, the more you're attending to other areas of your life, the more successful you will be in business and the happier you'll be. So pay attention to those two areas and you can do whatever you put your mind to. Just stick
So
with it.
so what do you say about my business? You have seen my business, right?
Yes.
So what
Tell
do
me
you say?
what you're hoping to do with your business.
My business is YouTube channel. I'm doing videos with different country people who are in different professions and showing to the world.
Yes. So what are you hoping to do next from your business? What are your goals?
My goals is to do more as videos, like no, more videos. I don't know whether I'll get success or not. I'm in a right track or wrong track.
So you want to keep adding to it. Well, I think you're doing a wonderful job. I think there are a lot of people out there, thought leaders and experts, who are looking for opportunities to showcase what they know and to get the word out about their message. So for you, I would say there are outlets like Help a Reporter Out, where you can find more sources to come on your show. And then you can start. Have you thought about doing other types of podcasting?
I didn't have that thought.
You haven't done that. That might be something for you to do next, I think. And then you can also take, what you're doing on the YouTube videos and maybe coming up with blog posts related to them and then sharing them more and more. YouTube is great because you can share it everywhere, Twitter, Instagram, and the stories. So many options for you. Are there other ways you hope to expand? Do you hope to write a book or anything like that?
Okay, yeah, I got you.
I think like it might be interesting if you wrote a book about the different people you meet, because obviously I checked out your YouTube, you've been meeting with a lot of people. So I think people might want to hear maybe somehow you can combine what different people are saying, your highlights, and kind of keep growing from there.
Okay. So what do you say about my thinking, my videos, you personally, not as a business,
So
as an individual, me talking with different thinking people in the world?
I like the idea. As I said, so many people are thirsty for knowledge right now, and that's why we're seeing the rise of so many podcasts. People want to hear what other people say. So I think if you keep putting the content out there and maybe expand on it and kind of grow your base, because it looks like you have quite a few followers already on Instagram and on YouTube for sure. And so if you keep growing and putting yourself and getting more and more people and people with big followings and kind of enticing them to share their videos, I think you'll start to see your business expand. And then you can look at influencer marketing and just expanding what you're doing to monetize it more.
Okay. So thank you so much for giving me your valuable time and giving answers to my questions, and at the same time telling some important points to the beginners and who wants to start their business. And I'm sure they are going to get more information through your book, which is coming in February.
Yes, definitely. It's available now on Amazon. Launch Your Inner Entrepreneur. And thank you so much for having me on here. I've really enjoyed it today.
Yeah. Can I put this video on my YouTube channel and on social media on internet with your permission?
Yes, definitely. Can't wait to see it. And be sure to send me the link and I will share it with my networks for sure.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'll definitely
Thank
do that.
you.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day, okay?
Yeah. Take
Bye bye.
care. Bye.